Hi, and welcome back to the first episode of our sew along this year. Today we are stitching the straps of these three bumbags. So model A with buckle and a regulator, and model B a little bit more detailed, and the last one with a squared ring and a regulator. Follow along, easy steps.
Okay, let's get started. So I opened the envelope with the sewing instructions and also the pattern. Always nice to get a little overview of the steps and then start pulling out the pattern pieces. Make sure to get each and every one of them. Find one right side and one left side of the side straps and attach the batting with 5mm seam allowance. Then cut a piece of ribbon measuring 138 centimeters. If the ribbon is made of plastic fibers, it's a good idea to melt the ends to prevent it from fraying. Pull the ribbon through the regulator and attach it with a double stitch. Then put the other end of the ribbon through the buckle, the part with the teeth, and then back through the regulator and leave it be. Then cut a piece of ribbon measuring 12 centimeters and pull the other end of the buckle through. Attach it to the side pieces with a 5mm seam allowance, just like this. And then place your other side panels on top and stitch them with 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around. Remember to keep the needle in the fabric whilst you turn corners, and don't forget to back tie. Trim the corners and make sure not to cut into the stitch line. Pull them right side facing outwards and give them a good press. Then finish it off with a little top stitching 5mm from the edge. Attach batting to the two side panels as we did on model A. Then cut 2 pieces of ribbon measuring 6 centimeters. On these 2 small pieces you attach the D-rings, then fold them halfway and stitch them in the end with 5mm seam allowance. Attach them to the side pieces. And then sew the 2 side pieces together 2 and 2 with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Remember to keep the needle in the fabric whilst turning corners. Trim the corners down and make sure not to cut into the stitch line. Then turn the side pieces right side facing out and give them a good press. Again, finish them off with a top stitch. Then cut a piece of ribbon measuring 130 centimeters. Melt the ends if you want to prevent it from fraying. Pull the regulator onto the ribbon and attach it with a double stitch. Pull the snap hook onto the ribbon and pull it back through the regulator again. Then add another snap hook to the other end and a double stitch on the back side of the ribbon. So just like model A and B, you start out by adding batting to your side panels on the back side. Then cut a piece of ribbon measuring 138 centimeters. I melted in the end to prevent it from fraying. And then I pull the regulator onto one end and add a double stitch to keep it in place. In the other end, I attach a square ring and then run it back through the regulator again. Then cut a piece of 6 centimeters of ribbon and attach it to the other side of the squared ring. Give it a stitch and attach it to the side panel. Attach the other end of the strap to the other side panel. Then stitch the side panels together 2 and 2 with 1 centimeter seam allowance and trim the corners down. Turn the right side out and give it a press. Finish it off with the top stitch.
Hi and welcome back. Today we are stitching the rest of the bum bag. So putting the straps on and completing the entire bag. Follow along these easy steps and don't forget to tag us in your project using the hashtag #SALNovoBumbag and you'll be in the competition of winning a voucher for our webshop.
Place the zipper on top of the upper inner pocket, right sides facing, and stitch it on. Then lift your presser foot and keep the needle in the fabric whilst pulling the zipper through. Next up, place your zipper on top of the lower inner pocket and stitch it on. Press along the zipper and afterwards fold the 3 sides 1 centimeter in and press. Then trace the markings on your pattern. I'm using pins, but you can also use chalk or an erasable pen. Then place your inner pocket on top of your markings and match the notches and top stitch it onto the lining with a 2mm stitch. Keep the needle in the fabric whilst turning corners and continue your stitch line. Trace the markings on your patterns again. And then we're ready to stitch the dart. You had the notches in the bottom, so you align those and make a stitch line towards the marking. And don't forget to back check at the end of the stitch line. Press the darts towards the center of the lining. Stitch the batting onto the wrong side of the piece 1, 2, and 3, and 5 with a 5mm seam allowance. I find it easiest to have the batting lying underneath and the fabric facing upward. And now it's time to quilt the lower front. I start at the center and then I make my way with 2 centimeter distance towards the sides. This fabric is allowing me to just follow the lines, and otherwise you can draw them with chalk or a erasable pen. Then stitch the dart the same way as we did on the lining, so matching the pattern, marking and the notches and stitching it together. Again, press the darts towards the center of the bag. Find the 2 zipper ends in your outer fabric and place them as close to the zipper ends as possible on the right side of the zipper. Then change your presser foot to a zipper presser foot and give it a stitch as close to the zipper as possible. Same procedure in the other end, of course. Then find the zipper ends that you cut in the lining fabric and place them on top of the other zipper ends with the zipper laying in between. Then stitch again in the same stitch line as before. Then fold the zipper ends into place and press them. Then trim them down and stitch all the way around the edge with both ends. Place the zipper on top of the lower front, matching the center of the zipper with the center of the lower front. Then pin it on right sides facing. Then stitch it on again using your zipper presser foot. If you have any excess fabric, then trim it down. Place the lining on top with the zipper laying in between and stitch it in the same stitch line as before. Then fold it in place and give it a press. Add a top stitch 5 mm from the crease line to keep the fabrics in place. Now place the upper front of the outer fabric. Again, match the center of the zipper with the notch and stitch it on. I've switched back to my zipper presser foot to get as close to the zipper as possible. Then place the lining upper piece, again match the notches at the center and stitch in the same stitch line again. Then press it down, then add another top stitch on the other side of the zipper here, again 5 mm from the edge. Then stitch the entire piece 5 millimeters from the edge all the way around. Then overlock or zigzag all the way around the edge to give it a nice and tidy look and prevent it from fraying. Place the side pieces 1 centimeter from the upper edge on the back panel. This is model A, B, and C. And then stitch them on with a 5 millimeter seam. Place the lining pieces on top of your back piece and top piece and pin them together, wrong sides facing. Then stitch them together in the edge all the way around. Again, overlock or zigzag all the way around. Then place the top and front on top of each other, right sides facing, and stitch them together. 1 centimeter seam allowance. Press the seam towards the upper front and add a top stitching 5 millimeters from the edge, starting 2 centimeters in. Also ending 2 centimeters from the edge. Then place the front and back together and stitch it together in the lower seam with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Then don't forget to open the zipper and then stitch the upper bit together again with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Turn the right side out and well done, you finished your bum bag.
That was it. Very well done. Hope to see you soon again, and until then, stay tuned on this channel for more daily inspiration. See you. Bye.